is Martha, I'm a pro makeup artist, and this is Martha's makeup, obviously. It's been a while, and I've been mostly kind of growing and developing on TikTok and then doing some stuff for like my business online and coaching sessions and stuff like that. But the one thing that I cannot really do on TikTok, and I don't like it, is that the attention span on TikTok is very, very short. Let's be honest, like few seconds and you're out. And there's so many people that keep asking me about, you know, the professional tips from my courses about foundation, blending, foundation separating, creasing, all of that kind of stuff. And I have loads, I have like tons of videos on my TikTok talking about this. But the problem is that all of those videos talk about 2, 3 reasons, mistakes, or whatever you want to call it, tops. And then that's it, because that's all the time that I've got. So I cannot really create like beginning to end, full-on guide, all of the reasons why your foundation looks bad, all of the reasons, all of the mistakes you're doing in this kind of side of makeup. So that is why I'm back. And I understand that, you know, a lot of people don't really have the time or don't really have the energy to scroll and find all of the separate single videos about their specific topic on my TikTok page. I wouldn't do that either. I wouldn't. Like, let's not lie to each other. I wouldn't do that. Finally, we are going to have one a little bit longer. I mean, it's YouTube. Yeah. One a little bit longer, but start to finish, like all the reasons why your foundation is separating, why it's peeling, why it's creasing, why it doesn't look right, why it kind of like doesn't look right around the nose, you know, when it's like really separating around the nose area here. That's one of the biggest problems. So we are diving in with all of the reasons. Number one, that is what I hope we already know. So your foundation, your primer, your concealer, and preferably like your skin prep needs to be in sync, which means they all need to be either water-based, silicone-based, or oil-based. Because obviously when you mix silicone with, I don't know, water, or oil with water, even in a normal kind of environment, right? What happens? What happens? It separates, it doesn't mix. So if you've got an oil-based primer and then a water-based foundation, or the other way around, or any other combination that isn't the same, that's what happens, it's going to separate on your face. How do you actually know what base your product is? It's really easy. So your ingredients list, right? You look at the ingredients list and it's either first, second, or sometimes third position that is going to either be aqua, meaning water, oil of some sort, I don't know, jojoba oil or coconut oil or whatever other oil, or it's going to be a silicone. Two most common silicones in makeup and face products are the ones that are ending in xane, X-A-N-E, or the ones that are ending in cone. It's dimethicone usually, or siloxane, I think. I'm gonna put that on the screen just so you know. You literally just have to look at the first 3. But then, that is not enough, because then another thing that also very often happens is that a lot, if not the majority, a lot of products these days are based on silicone. That's silicone based, and like that's just, I don't know, it works, it's more efficient, probably easier, whatever, works for multiple skin types as well. But the problem is that sometimes if you've got 2 different silicones, even though they are both kind of the same substance, they are different types of silicone. So like I said, one product is dimethicone and the other product is siloxane or whatever else. Sometimes they don't really like to work together. I'm not a chemist, I'm not an esthetician, no freaking clue why, but it just sometimes happens. So it would be, if that happens to you and all of the other tips that I'm gonna mention, like you follow them and there's like, and it still separates on your face, that might be the reason why you might just need to use the same kind of type of silicone. Besides, the problem is that silicone in general as a substance has a tendency to peel. So if all of your products are silicone based, and then you don't wait in between, you know, applying those products, you use thick layers, you pile them on top of each other, they, instead of melting into the skin, they are gonna sit on top of the skin, sit on top of each other and kind of just peel, because that's just kind of the quality of the substance. What you wanna do is between each step of your skincare and each step of your makeup, you want to wait at least 2 to 3 minutes so the product that you use actually absorbs into your skin, and then only then you apply another one. Another thing you want to do is make sure you're using thin layers. If something says use 1 pump, use half a pump, or whatever, that's how much you're supposed to be using. Honestly, like whatever you see on the internet or whatever you see online, all of the influencers that I watch use too much, as like opposed to what I've been taught in actual like kind of makeup courses. Another thing is obviously your skincare, something we all don't really want to hear, but your skincare, if you don't take proper if you don't take proper if you don't take proper care of your skin, no matter what tips and tricks and types of foundation and concealer and whatever you're using, it's always going to look bad. Another thing that nobody actually talks about, I don't remember the last time I had a makeup client that had a properly cleansed skin. And that is such a basic thing, but I feel like so many people just don't do it properly. So like somebody comes to me and I'm asking, obviously, do you have anything on your face, like anywhere? No, I just washed it. I always like take care of it to cleanse it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, great, let's check it. Ladies and gentlemen, no. Because I, for example, for a full face of makeup, I triple cleanse. I use a cleansing oil that melts the makeup off, then I use a face wash, and then I use micellar water. And still, when I use the micellar water on a cotton pad, I still have makeup on the cotton pad. People don't even freaking realize how much of that makeup is still in your pores and still kind of melted in the skin. And if you just keep piling the makeup on top of like previous layers, it's not only going to look really, really bad and be really, really bad for your skin, it's simply going to also influence your makeup, because you've got old kind of crumbled layers of makeup of different substances, different products, that then you are kind of slamming other products on top of it. No. Disgusting. However, when it comes to skincare, there are certain rules as well. For example, over-exfoliating or using certain exfoliating substances can really, really influence the way your makeup then looks. The problem here is that I am a massive advocate for using exfoliants, chemical, gentle exfoliants on your skin. No matter what your skin type, you should have a certain type of exfoliant in your skincare routine that kind of works for you, your needs, your skin type, blah, blah, blah. However, if they are using too many of those, or even one, for example, let's take retinol, right? Not always, but sometimes it happens that if my clients use retinol daily, use it right before using the makeup, it tends to influence the way the makeup looks. And that's simply because all of those kind of chemical exfoliants obviously freaking exfoliate your skin. Duh. So the micro kind of peeling of the layers of your skin that you can't really see, but it doesn't influence the way that your makeup looks, because instead of melting into the skin, it kind of crumbles with the kind of... Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm trying to do here? I am really recommending using the exfoliants either in the evenings, definitely never freaking before your makeup, or if you have like a bigger event, a night out, a party, whatever you want to call it, do not use retinol for, I don't know, a day or two before you go to that event. Does it always happen? No, it doesn't. Does it happen? Yeah, it does, and it can be the reason. So you need to really think about what types of exfoliants you're using. Do you need all of the types that you're using? That's another thing, because nowadays we've got so many, AHAs, BHAs, and retinol, and vitamin C, and blah, 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 and then people are trying to sell you all of it and trying to make you use all of it, whilst you honestly only usually need one, maybe two tops, most people. I literally use one type of exfoliant on my skin, and I don't use it every day, and that's enough. Okay, so now that we've got all the kind of boring blah 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 chit chat out the way, now is the time to actually talk about how you're supposed to apply your base so it doesn't then look muddy, separate, and look disgusting. Number one, what I will say is obviously waiting in between your layers, so they don't kind of sit on top of each other and melt together and create that muddy effect, but actually melt into the skin first. If you're using a beauty blender, make sure that it's damp but it has no water coming out of it, simply because, like we just said, if you're using silicone-based products, which you probably are, or oil-based products, water in the sponge is simply going to make it separate and look terrible. Apply it from the back of your hand, not straight onto the face. You really don't need that thick of a layer. I always start with applying my concealer and my client's concealer first, and that's because A, you don't need a double layer in that very delicate under eye area, and if you first apply a foundation and then apply a concealer from the applicator, chances are it's going to crease and you honestly just don't need it. I apply it not from the applicator but from a fluffy kind of brush, and I just tap it underneath my eyes first. Look like how much coverage that still gives you, but you're using half, if not more, if not less, of what you'd normally use if you were to apply it straight from the applicator. That is still the same one dab that I did, and it's enough for both eyes and then some. And what this does is mostly, the biggest kind of thing is just, it prevents you from using too much. It prevents you from creating thick layers that then, again, instead of melting into the skin, just sit on top of one another. Boom, and you still have brightened under eyes, you still have coverage. Especially if you need some more, you can always do color correcting first, but you really don't need a thick layer of your concealer first. And then when you apply your foundation from the back of your hand, you want to start from the outer parts of your face first, so the parts that are not moving, the bigger parts, and then from then on, you kind of blend it in tapping motions inwards. And basically what this does is then create a thinner layer of product in that very delicate area, in the area where you're kind of moving your face and there's some fine lines, usually more texture in that middle area. And what this basically does is then, instead of creating having a thick layer of product in that area that doesn't melt into that skin and sits on top of all that texture, you've got a thinner layer that is then melting into it. I am a massive freaking advocate for less is more, and I promise you that 99% of stuff that you see online, you really don't need that much product. Plus, over time, the thicker the layers, the worse it's going to like look over time. And as much as it might look flawless like at the very beginning, right after you apply it, thick layers of products always tend to crease and then separate and just look disgusting at the end of the day. Thinner layer of products melt into your skin and simply look like your skin but better. If you've got some imperfections or whatever, you can always just use like a concealer or a color corrector like on those spots before you apply your foundation. I'm not actually going anywhere, so I don't really care. Another thing, applying your contour, even if you've got like a stick contour, straight to your face. More often than not, this is going to lift your foundation from underneath, especially if you applied it like too much of it. And then it's going to also blend harder. So what you want to do is you want to pick some up on your brush. That's probably a bit too much, but that's okay. And the way you want to kind of apply it is with tapping motions. I don't want to see no freaking swiping. There is no swiping in makeup, okay? Because swiping your brush and trying to blend it like that, all it does is kind of lifting all of the products from underneath and creating a very kind of muddy and often like uneven separating effects on your face. You want to always tap the foundation in so it melts into the skin in the spots that you want it to melt in, instead of just like doing this and then being surprised that the stuff from underneath that it looks muddy or ugly or it didn't blend properly. When it comes to powder, you can bake if you want, you can do what you see online, you can do whatever you'd like to do, obviously. But very often, if you apply a thick layer of powder straight onto your wet, still wet makeup, it's going to start to crease and just look unnatural and weird. So what I like to do is first I take a little bit of a powder, kind of put it on the back of my hand so it's actually, there's barely anything on the sponge or on the powder puff, and then I set my makeup. I only do that after like, I don't know, another 2 minutes when the makeup had some time to sit on my face and kind of not be very wet straight off the bat, because just like, you know, wet plus powder, when you mix it together, it just then creates that kind of weird mud on your face that we don't really want. So you want to wait for the makeup to dry down a little bit on its own. Obviously it's not going to be completely dry because at the end of the day it's makeup, but Do you get what I'm saying? Just wait a little bit. And now if you want to bake, if that's your thing, now only after you set it a little bit, now you can apply the thicker layer of the powder and bake for a little bit. And that's literally it. So thank you so much for watching. Remember that you can always, for more personalized tips to your skin type, your face shape, your any other kind of issues that you've got, you can always just book a lesson with me. The link is going to be in the description box, I think, yeah. If this helped you in any way, please leave me some thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel for more professional makeup artistry tips, and I'll see you in the next one.